Trapped by the belief that I'm not good enough, bound by the limitations and the lies that consumed my world, this was me. It wasn't until I took the biggest leap in my life to know and trust the power within. And it was at that moment I made a choice. My past will not define me anymore. Hello, I am Teri, and I know I am not alone in this. Over the years, I have found that the number one mistake that we make is that we get in the way of our own success story. Yes, I said it. On this show, together we'll tackle limiting beliefs, self-sabotage, getting stuck, fear, doubt, overwhelm, and the imposter syndrome. Join us on this journey designed to transport you beyond your limitations to a world where anything is possible. This is Talking with Teri. Hello, and welcome back to Talking with Teri, where we have powerful conversations to transform your life and your business. And I'm super excited to have our guest on today. This is Katrina Sawa. She is the CEO and founder of JumpStartYourBusinessNow.com. She has 10x international best-selling author with 16 books. I mean, for those that are checking us out on podcasts, you can just see the plethora of her library behind herself. I mean, it's incredible. It's inspiring. She's been featured on Oprah and Friends XMRadioNetwork, ABC, and TheCW. Oh my goodness. I'm so excited because you're just like this powerhouse of a woman that gets things done. So Katrina, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Teri. Good to be here.
So bring us up to speed for folks that don't know you yet. How did you get to where you're at today?
Oh gosh. Well, it's been 20 years in the making as an entrepreneur so far. So I can't even imagine doing anything else, right? I'm so thankful, really, because when I was in college, I graduated and I was a bartender still. My mom was so proud. As I didn't know what I wanted to do, because I knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur of some sort. And then, but it wasn't coming to me like what to do, right? So I had a couple jobs, and my very last job that before I started my own business was advertising sales for the local newspaper in Northern California. And that was 22 years ago. Okay. So the newspaper was still hot. and all these, I know, right? And all these small business owners would but they didn't know what they were doing. They'd give me their business card and say, here, run this as my ad next week. And I'm like, first of all, no one cares about your logo or your fax number. And you can't just run one ad and hope for miracles. So I had to school them a lot and teach them all these other things. And that's where I found my love of small business owners.
I love it. I love it. Cause I think, I think a lot of entrepreneurs like kind of stumble into accidentally entrepreneurship, but the fact that you knew that you wanted to do this is kind of unique, because most entrepreneurs that I've talked to just be like, oh, I just kind of like, this is what I think I want to do. So I love the fact that you kind of was open to allowing in whatever that might be.
Yeah. Yeah. When I realized that I needed to just work with these people, and I learned it's like, I know a lot of stuff. I can help them and they don't know. And I think I can make it work. And so I really had a lot of faith in the beginning about it would work out in the end. My whole motto was it'll work out in the end. And I lived by that motto, and I didn't know it was my motto. I just kind of kept taking inspired action. Right. And then I don't know, 8 years into my business, I'm like, oh, it'll all work out in the end. I've had faith all along. How do I do that? And how come I had it and a lot of people don't? And so that was an interesting lesson.
Yeah, I think, I want to pause you there for a second and unpack that, because I think it's easy to say that. And again, it was kind of almost like an unconscious default mode that you were living from. Yeah. That's I didn't even know that it just all works out.
Yeah.
So how kind of share a little bit more about that. What was
Well, there's so much in there. The first let's see, I started the business in 2002, and so 2 years into that, I started when I was married to my starter husband, and I thought he was going to be supportive of my business because we met actually doing door-to-door sales. So I thought, well, he's outgoing. He did door-to-door sales, right? We had to knock on doors. That's how I met my first husband. But when I started my own business, the money's kind of like a roller coaster and you're like freaking out. I didn't freak out because I kind of saw that it had just come and I had that knowing, right?
Yeah.
But he freaked out and he was like, you need to go back and get a job. Like, we're gonna make it. And I'm like, yes, we will. You just have to trust and da-da-da. Anyways, it didn't end up working out. I left 2 years after I started my business. I left the marriage, again, leaping out into faith that I can support myself as a solo entrepreneur, one income household, which, he was bringing in a paycheck. So I just had to trust because I knew I didn't want to settle for someone who wasn't completely supportive of me.
Yeah.
So the faith has also a lot to do with knowing that I deserve a really supportive significant other. So there's a lot of stuff around my love life that played a part in either being more successful or not being successful in my business. And which is why today I talk a lot about getting more love in your life and money in your business, because they go hand in hand as an entrepreneur.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree with that because I think that the money is like kind of a byproduct, if you will, to, the high vibration, the amount of love, the amount of, joy that we bring into our lives and generating that. The money follows that, and so it's almost like a byproduct of the work that we get to do and play in.
It is. And I see entrepreneurs all the time and they're struggling in their personal life. They either don't fully love themselves, right? They're like, especially after COVID, everybody's gained the 2020, right? The 2020 gained the 20 pounds or more.
Yeah.
And they're not so happy with their appearance or their body. So that is lack of confidence projected into the world. You know what happens when you have lack of confidence, less and less of the ideal clients come to you, whether it's that love for self or you have a significant other relationship that's not so happy, not so supportive. That also will play a part with what's going on if you're going to do those regular revenue generating activities, or if you're going to kind of hide yourself because you're not happy. All of that stuff goes hand in hand and people don't see what's going on and they don't understand. They need to focus on their personal life, their relationships, their love for self, as well as growing your business. You can't just focus on one or the other if you want to have both.
Yeah, it's a simultaneous journey. And I just was talking to someone yesterday and she said, I had a coach a couple years ago. And she said, well, you can either focus on your business or you can focus on your personal stuff, but you can't do it together. And I was like, I have never experienced that where like you can compartmentalize who you are in that way, because it just doesn't work. Like, as entrepreneurs, we are going to be faced with, the things that are going to grow us and expand us. And sometimes it's not easy, facing those things, but I think I'm in alignment and agreement with you is that they need to be done together in order to really up level us, to this. And really we're talking about vibrations, like higher vibrations attract higher, attracting clients, higher, like our ideal clients, because, and oftentimes, as entrepreneurs, I always tell people, like my clients, I was like, who do you get to become? Because who you are now is not going to be who you are then. And, we got to step into that becoming part of it.
Yeah. And yes, I agree with that. And I also agree that to compartmentalize during the day or during your week is also vital to getting more stuff done. like
especially if you have like something going on personally, right? I think in the context of I agree with that.
Squirrels, either their kids, their husbands, somebody's sick, they have to take care of a loved one, and they don't compartmentalize enough then to get shit done.
I agree with that. I think because I actually I automatically do. That's like my default is like, okay, like here's my, and I think, here's the thing is like, I don't work from home. I only work from home like a couple days a week. And then I have an office that I go to. But I think that's probably a difference because, and when I work from home, I have
so many hours. Like today, I have 3 hours that I'm working from home, and that is it. That's my day. And so I'm really like zero focused in. These are my 3 hours. This is what I'm going to do. I'm not going to do laundry. I'm not going to, because laundry, and that has no place in the work hours for me.
Yeah.
But I think you're right. Like, I think sometimes as entrepreneurs that we're working from home or whatever, we can get distracted so easily by other, a million distractions, right?
Yeah. And it's also easier to get distracted when you're not as busy yet. So the newer business owners have this problem more often than the seasoned business owners, because once you start getting an X number of clients and or responsibilities to run programs or networking calls that you know you need to be on, and you're accountable to making sure you're on these things and doing these things, then your calendar fills up. When your calendar fills up, then you have very little space to work on the business, right? And do the things that catapult the business to the next level. You have to set boundaries for yourself. So I love the fact that you say, I'm working from home 3 hours today, and then that's it, right?
Yeah.
That means you have 21 other hours to sleep, be with your family, and do laundry. Like, do not do them during those 3 hours.
Exactly.
Highly hyper productive, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And you can do that. You
Yeah.
can design the business around the kind of life you want to live, not fit your life in around your business, if you're really hyper productive and organized, which I think a lot of people are not, unfortunately.
I agree with this. And I'm glad that we're having this conversation, because I didn't even because it is such default mode for me, that it's, I don't know, but I agree with you. Like, I think about some of my clients right now. And that has been like one of the things that we've had to work on is like calendaring, right? Like, how do you block and protect certain amount of time, to do the things to get things done and be productive about it, which is, it's required. It's consistency and structure on our part to make that happen. And I'm a big believer, and I've talked about this on here before about, like really being, I'm a big fan of, there's this clock that's called the time timer. And I've mentioned this on here before, but I'm a huge fan of it, because I'm like, the brain's going to check out every 20 minutes anyways. So do anything from 0 minutes to 20 minutes, but like that will be your task, right? Like, just being really super clear on, those focused, inspired action pieces that you're getting stuff done. And it just, it boosts the confidence, it boosts your like getting stuff. I mean, it does so much for us when we have that focused time to get some stuff done.
It's important. And there's a lot of creatives out there. I get it. If you're a creative type,
me included. Yeah. I know, right?
I have all kinds of different clients. We have to get tricky and creative with our accountability tasks or things that we do. And it's okay to be creative. It's okay to go have some time off during the day. Again, you design the business around what works for you.
Yeah. What works for you. And like, and how do you get fueled up, and some people, honestly, in total transparency, now I couldn't live my business like this. It just wouldn't work long-term for me, but my like creative juices is between 10 PM and 2 AM. Like, that is when I'm like, like that, like the juiciest time. Like, and now it doesn't work for me to do that all the time. But guess what? When I'm in project generation, guess what time I'm doing it at? 10 to 2. It was like when I'm like in generation mode, right? And so, finding times that work for you, that you are on your game, that fuels you. And some people are more morning people, more people are night. I have a good mentor, and she doesn't start her day until 1 o'clock. And then she works from like 1 to like 6, but that's when she's most alert and most engaged and most, productive and all of the other stuff. So like, going back to like that, the statement of like, what works for you, it may look different than somebody else, but I think there's so many pieces when we are putting together the entrepreneurial, fabric here. There's so many different elements and pieces that fit together. And it's like figuring out what works specifically for you, in your life and your lifestyle.
Yes. So important. And it's okay. You can give yourself permission to do this, right?
Yeah.
And you might have to try a few different things to find that ideal creative time, or that time when you feel motivated to write emails or do video marketing, right? Because those kinds of things are what people get stuck on, on, so they don't do as often as they should.
So I know
fit into your schedule is my point.
Yeah.
So people worry like, well, if I'm not working from 8 to 6 every day, then I'm not available enough for clients. Like I have to have more availability. No, you don't. The clients who want to work with you will fit into whatever you say that you have available.
Yeah, exactly. I used to be that person that was like, I was at 8 to 5-er. And even though I was done with my work at 3 or 2, I'd be like, I got to stay here at the office until 5. Because there was like so much guilt, there was so much. And then I'm like, okay, I've got to get over this guilt. And now I come and go, from that other office, as I do, but it's really funny. It's like, so I know earlier when we were chatting offline, you mentioned that you have a new book coming out, which is like, 600 and, number book coming out. Just kidding. She has a ton of books, guys. But that just tells me that you're, as entrepreneurs, we're always growing and expanding, right? And so again, just the wealth of knowledge, and we can just continue to grow and expand on this journey. So tell me, what the new book is about and how it can contribute to the audience.
Yeah, well, it's what we've been talking about, really. And it's a new book. It's not totally new. It's the second edition of my most popular book, which is called Love Yourself Successful, a woman's guide, a step-by-step guide to finally getting the life and business of your dreams. And I put that out 10 years ago, and a lot has happened. People always read it and then, now what are you doing, Katrina? And they always ask me. So I updated a lot of the chapters, and then I added an update chapter at the end too, and some other resources, and relaunched it this year. So it's fun. It's all about how to get more love in your life and money in your business, and the journey and the struggles and the mindset issues that we all have, and how to really get over that. I'm kind of a blunt in your face kind of gal. And so I'm like, just stop doing this and let this go, and, and move on to here and decide what you want. And then let's go get it. Like it's one of those just motivating kind of books. And everybody says now I need an audiobook. It's like the biggest thing is now you need audiobooks, right? But who has time to record audiobooks of 16 books? I'm like, I don't know.
No, it's called Fiverr. That's what it's called. I did record my book, and it took me forever. And oh my goodness, I don't know that I'd recommend it, because it took me like multiple settings. So I do one chapter at a time. Oh my goodness. But
my husband's a voiceover artist. So he's like,
perfect. There you go.
But you can't, like, if it's my voice and I'm saying, hey guys, and like, it's the slangy kind of talk. I write like I talk. If he reads it, it won't make any sense, because he'd be like, and my starter husband, and da, 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 da. Like, come on. Right? So
it would be funny. It would be funny,
or it needs to be me. And
I know.
We already have the studio, so it actually would be quite easy. But
it is. I will tell you, this time consuming, and mine is I don't know, like 180 pages or something, like I don't know. It was but it was 150 some 160 some pages, and it was like it was more, because like I wanted to get oh gosh. And you're talking to the person that does not enjoy reading, because I had a learning disability when I was younger, and so reading is like, especially reading out loud.
Right.
Oh my gosh. And I would take 400 takes to do one chapter. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is insane. But anyways, I'm just saying it was very time consuming, but it's out there, it's done. But maybe you do your top 3, you do your top 1 or top 3,
I don't know.
Maybe down the road.
It's all the phrase though, with all the podcasts. So if you do have a book, really consider an audiobook, people. And if you don't have a book, oh my God, you need a book. Everybody needs a book.
I agree with that, statement. And when I didn't want to write a book, and I dug in my heels long and hard for this, because I didn't feel like I was a writer and blah, 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 and all the excuses and whatever. And so someone told me that you need to have a book in order to, if you're going to be speaking on stages, you need to have a book. And I was just like, well, that's a silly rule. Like, why? And I'm a rule breaker in most areas of my life. And I was like, that doesn't apply to me. But I will tell you, that it has opened up a ton of doors that I would not have foreseen. And then, you know, and even like having a podcast, like it is like opened up the floodgates, like to possibilities. And it's just been truly like incredible, like what this platform has helped do. And it's unbelievable. So
it's so true.
So having a book
either. And I thought, I don't need a book. Why would I sell a $20 thing when I can sell a $200 thing, a $2,000 thing, or a $20,000 thing? Why would I focus on a $20 thing?
Yeah.
But then all my friends started getting them. And then I'm like, now they're getting on more stages. They're getting more credibility because of it. I got on TV with some of my books, you know, TV free publicity. So it's a really good idea. People have hired me just because they read my book and then hired me for tens of thousands of dollars. I mean, like, that's how it happens. That's how you make the money.
It's part of the fabric, right? It's part of the piece. And it has opened up, again, it has opened up doors. And even if it's like something that, you know, when you go to speak, you gift the audience with one, you know, or like you can use it and position it.
Yeah.
In lots of different ways.
All the time as bonuses. They sign up for my events. I'll give a book in the mail, right? You want to be open to doing that. That's why you want to print it and do it the most affordable way possible. So I have so many books now. That's why I started a publishing company, because I want to help people get them done really affordably, because you just need to do more. So some people spend $20,000 to $40,000 just to get one book done. I'm like, don't do that. Don't do that.
Yes, I agree. Yeah. So if you have that calling to do any kind of writing, and here's the thing, if you've already, because I think sometimes we're like, oh my gosh, I don't have time to write. But if you have material that you've already purposed, you can repurpose that. Like if you've written blogs, newsletters, articles, you have been on podcasts, like you can actually take that information and, you know, put it into writing. And there you have it. You have more than you probably think you have, especially if you're an entrepreneur and you're pushing out content. Like I think we have probably content overload. So that usually is not an issue. It's like, okay, what content what would I want to write about? And then, you know, how do I use that and strategize, you know, putting that into a book? So if you've been overthinking it, I recommend, you know, reaching out to Katrina.
Totally. There's so many different ways. There's like 8 different types of books you could write. And some of them, you don't even have to write a word. You just have to get it done and compile it. So it's fun.
I love it. I love it. Okay. So this has been super juicy. Thank you so much. I love talking about business and like all the things. I mean, we could stay on here for hours and hours and not even like, you know, scratch the tip of the iceberg with, you know, just your experience in the business world and everything. So how can people connect with you and reach out to you?
So there's so much. I'm all over social media, but my main website is JumpStartYourBizNow.com. And if you go to /free trainings, you can find some trainings there on how to become an author, how to jumpstart your business, start speaking, lots of things. I also run the International Speaker Network. You could join that. It's a free networking group if you're a speaker. And I have the publishing site, which is, if you're interested, you can go to jumpstartpublishing.net. You can buy the Love Yourself Successful book at loveyourselfsuccessful.com. Another little tip is buy a bunch of domains and use them when you're doing stuff like this to make it easy. But yeah, there's lots of different ways. Do something if you feel inspired.
I love it. I love it. Thank you, Katrina, so much for your wise words today. And I look forward to staying in touch.
Thanks, Teri.
I am so grateful that you joined me for this episode. If you've enjoyed this, then there's just one thing that I would like you to do. Click to subscribe and leave me a rating and review. As my way to thank you, let's connect for a free consultation. Just reach out to me at talkingwithteri, that's TERI.com, to book your time.